How's it going, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and welcome back to another YouTube video. And before we begin, I just want to say a few things. I decided to get rid of in the bottom left corner how it says creator code FireMonkey or whatever, because I felt like it's too intrusive. And I just want to, if you want to use code FireMonkey in the item shop, feel free. This is just my reminder at the beginning of the video. So I wanted to make a script for this video, so I had everything just planned ahead of time. But y'all know me, I like going without scripts. So let's explain what I'm talking about today. So the Rune has reached Loot Lake, and another one has appeared. But something else had happened from this Rune reaching Loot Lake. The volcano has actually started to become like hotter, smoky, and all that stuff. And I find it interesting, especially with our week 8 skin. Then I started to think, what if all of this is like interconnected? Now there are rumors that Greasy Grove and just the whole ice area is starting to melt. Not for sure how true that is, but it could happen. That is a possibility. But basically what I've realized is the runes seem somehow connected to the volcano. And the week 8 skin or Rune, also known as Furnace Face, I realized something about him. So you realize that basically anything that involves furnaces and stuff, blacksmiths are usually involved. And what are blacksmiths like to have? Hot materials. Now, if we go by the fact and say that the origin of Rune is that he's literally like smitten together by a furnace or something hot enough to make him like just make the shape of him, then I want to say that Rune might have been born in the flames of the volcano by the prisoner, also known as the Fire King, as I see it. Which this could make sense, as the Fire King, also known as the prisoner, has his little hybrids as his little henchmen. So that means that on the Fire King side, he now has henchmen and Rune, and potentially Kevin the Cube, who knows. But basically, why I feel like this is linked together is because we know that there's this whole war against the Ice Kingdom and the Fire Kingdom. Well, what if Kevin the Cube comes back? And I know that makes no sense to what I just talked about, like the whole Fire Kingdom and Ice Kingdom. It's like, what does Kevin have to do with anything? But hear me out here. So we know there's this battle. We've seen Loot Lake have some stuff happen to it. A friggin' Rune almost destroyed the Fortnite Tilted Towers building for like the 50th time. But let me mention this real quick. When Kevin the Cube had started spinning around right before we hit the Nexus, aka the butterfly event, one thing you may have noticed is that he dropped a little liquid, a substance, down into Loot Lake. Now, listen closely here. If you go to the Loot Lake runes, where all the runes appear, if you look at the ground, you'll notice that that texture, the ground texture, seems oddly similar to the Nexus, aka the butterfly room. Well, that is because it is from the butterfly room, also known as the Nexus. If you pay close attention, or you follow leakers, you may have noticed me mentioning on Twitter how there has been a texture. Actually, I don't think I mentioned it on Twitter, I only mentioned it at Silox, but there's a texture added or changed regarding the Nexus, and I'm like, And then once you go in game, you go near the runes and all that, you'll notice that they have this texture on them. Now, what do I think this could mean? Well, another thing I had leaked is this little drop, a rainbow colorful drop, one that has a similar color and texture to that of what Kevin had dropped into the ground. And to further back up this theory, Fort Tory, one of my fellow leaking friends, who, by the way, dude, you seriously need to stop. Like, just calm down, man. Let us have some stuff to leak, man. But he had posted an image of the middle of Loot Lake without the little circle in the middle. You know, it's been opened up by him messing with the files, probably. Well, what I have to say about this is that you notice how, well, I can't say you notice how because I'm not really going to edit this video. It's too hard to follow what I'm doing. I'm so hyper right now. But the middle of the Loot Lake rune site is completely white. Now, obviously, you're not supposed to see it because the event hasn't started yet, so obviously it's just going to be white, and we don't know what's going to happen after that. But what we do know is Max, another Fortnite leaker, Man, I'm mentioning so many leakers other than myself. I mean, I'm obviously the best one, but back on topic. Max had posted an image of what the runes will be doing. Now, it showed the runes floating in the sky with beams crossing each other. Looked like they were connecting to each other with beams. Now, this is odd because the runes are connected to Loot Lake. Now, this could mean that Loot Lake and the runes is a multi-stage event. Once you think it's over, it's just beginning. Because there's so many coincidences, Jesus Christ. So we have like 4 more runes that are going to appear on the map that we're going to have to travel all the way back to Loot Lake. That's going to trigger one of the 3 events. Now, as the reason why I'm saying 3 events is we have Sleepy, we have Leaky, and then we have Snow, I think it's called. Well, we have 3 events total. And originally people were like, oh, this is to throw leakers off guard. This is to make them not realize that they're all the same event. This is wrong. I want to believe that the reason why we have 3 different categories is that there's 3 different stages to this event. Now, we noticed how after the first rune happened, Volcano started to become more smoky. Now, why would Volcano become more smoky if nobody in the community has even found anything in the files relating to Volcano? Well, I feel like, obviously in the code, there's some stuff hidden regarding the event, but I feel like we're just on stage 1. Not even that, we're almost on stage 1. I mean, you can't go below stage 1, that'd be like stage 0. But the reason why I'm mentioning we're below, like still on stage 1, is because we have to wait for all of these runes to hit Loot Lake. Now, I just want to advise you guys now, when each rune, actually, not even just the last one, each rune from now on, make sure you're in-game to watch it hit the ground. Because what's happening is the runes are going into this metal area at Loot Lake and powering up the system. It's going to keep powering it up until every single rune is connected, turning all the lights blue. Now, when this happens, the event that causes stage 2 to start will become alive pretty much. So let me recap for those who aren't really following along. The Ice Kingdom and Fire Kingdom are going to be their own separate stages of events that may happen over the course of the Rune event. But the Rune event isn't really correlated to those as of right now. What I believe is that the Fire Kingdom is getting all these new recruits, such as Hybrids and the Rune guy, and the prisoner himself, and they're slowly heating up, and this could be because the prisoner is trying to mass produce ruins out of the volcanic forge in order to make an army. Now, what will happen after this happens? Who knows? What will the Ice Kingdom do to fight back that? What will the pirates and the Vikings do? I can't say for sure, but what I do know is that when Kevin turned out of his cube form, took everyone to the Nexus, he left a piece of him behind. And what we're seeing is that piece of him fly around again all throughout the map. And if you don't believe this, we have files, meshes, and everything that show this liquid the same color as the one Kevin left behind, just a different shape, as if it's a little bit of a smaller drop, an essence. Now imagine this essence, once all 5 runes, or 6 runes, have powered up the middle, what if this essence starts floating in the air? What if that starts stage 2? Now these are obviously what ifs and it's a theory, but just imagine it. Imagine what could happen, because not only are the runes affecting themselves, but it seems after each rune activates, a different part of the map's going to become infected, or not infected, but affected, and something is going to slightly change. Welcome to the Season 8 storyline. For those who don't know, the first 8 weeks of Fortnite is normally just storyline built into loading screens. I've said this previous seasons before, that after 8 weeks is when we start getting that season's actual event. And we have practically 2 weeks left. 2 more weeks where Fortnite's event, their Season 8 event, is going to happen. And if you're wondering, why do they wait until the last 3 weeks to start an event? The reason why is because in the last 3 weeks, that's when they're gearing up for the next season. When the next season comes out, we get a trailer showing what happened from the previous event. That means whatever is happening in Fortnite right now, involving the volcano, involving the ruins, involving Kevin, the Ice Kingdom, pirates, Vikings, everything, It's all going to be seen in a storyline for Season 9. Anyways, I feel like that's where I'm going to leave the video off for today. Hope you champs and champettes have enjoyed. If you have any better theories than what I'm coming up with, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a comment, like, comment, subscribe. Jesus, I said that so much. Use supported creator code FireMonkey.